The Writer comic first debuted with Dark Horse back in June, and issues 1 through 3 are already out. How
They
does
are? Wait, I have
it
to order this.
Yes. So how does it feel to finally share this story with the world, and how has fan reception been so far?
I
Boys,
mean, it's been pretty incredible. This is a very personal story to all of us. Yeah, and the fan reception has been unbelievable.
I
Like
mean, we
people have
were
been coming
just,
to us
yeah,
and saying like this has been a story that they've wanted for so long, and it hits that sort of 80s action adventure Spielberg Indiana Jones vibe, and that's like exactly what we were
people have
going
been
for.
like, I've been longing for a narrative that involves a writer eating paper and becoming a superhero for decades. And we were like,
Decades.
we knew it. We found the niche and we delivered. No, the fan reception has been truly insane to the point where I think I'm like a little I, I'm sort of like in that phase where I'm asking myself, is this the way it always is? Like, is the reception always this effusive when you write one of these? But it's a credit to my partners who came up with the initial concept for the writer, that it was just such a slam dunk, and it's why I signed on, because I was like, oh yeah, this speaks to me in a way that I know I can talk about it and be excited. And we've seen that same response from the fan base.
I mean, we all love superheroes, Jewish delis, and Boston sports, right, Josh?
I mean, I'm not particularly having a great season as a Florida sports fan, so yes, I would support the Boston fan base right
You're
now.
always so nice about Boston fans.
I love Boston fans. I love
Mhm.
Boston fans.
We love you.
The first movie I ever shot was in Boston. Fell in love with Boston.
21. Yep.
I wasn't smart enough to get into any of the Boston colleges, but
Neither
um,
was I, and I'm from there.
but as a kid, I used to compete in speech and debate and have very fond memories of competing at the Harvard Invitational tournament every year and saying, this is a school I'll never set foot in other than for speech and debate. So yes, I love all things Boston. I love all things the writer. It's just been such a thrill to be a part of this unique concept.
I mean, the Comic-Con panel, I couldn't believe it was a
Wild.
sellout, and
Wow.
they had to like turn people away. I mean, it's because of me
Yeah,
that
Of
the
course.
sellout. Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
yeah.
I had a close friend call me. I won't name him, but he was like, I can't believe it's getting such good reviews. And I'm like, thank you for the confidence
You're
in
like, thank you,
our
Harrison Ford, but also why do all of your calls begin with, an insult? Uh,
Well, speaking of which, what was the initial inspiration behind the creation of the Writer comic series?
it was Josh, of course.
Yeah.
The inspiration for Max and I, we had sort of seen this trend with characters who had a Jewish identity in comic books, and we had seen kind of like that jump from page to screen as their identity kind of being sidelined. So we really wanted to build a story around, our Jewish experience, stories that we fell in love with as kids, the movies that we all grew up in, again, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, and really create something that felt very personal, something from the heart, something we love.
I mean, the one on screen that I can think about is Magneto, and he's a villain in most of these movies. We needed a
I think
character that is incredible, like Josh. Yeah, there you go. There's Magneto. Yeah.
I was just going to second that. When we set out to create this, I think it's very interesting. One of our collective favorite movies and favorite narratives is Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that is steeped in Old Testament mythology and mysticism. And it's fascinating. And we felt like, oh, it hasn't been as mined as much as other myths. And is there an opportunity to dig into that? I think collectively we would also tell you one of our favorite books ever is The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. And it's like all of that is, it has narrow representation in terms of comic books, in terms of, you know, movies, in terms of fiction writ large. So we really did feel like this is an opportunity to do something different in a world in which it's very rare to find those opportunities. It's a lot of the same narratives told again and again in the same sort of structure, using the same sort of, you know, inspirations and tentpoles.
And growing up, you know, we went to Hebrew school, Sunday school, and, you know, they never taught us about all of this incredible mythology and lore and, you know, the demons that existed, you know, all of this, you know, Kabbalistic magic and spiritualism. And it kind of came about later, you know, we all fell in love with comic books and, you know, learning more about the history of comic books, you know, these Jewish creators whose characters were influenced by stories like Superman is very much the story of Moses. And, you know, Hellboy touches upon a lot of those, you know, folklore stories of, you know, religions across the board. So we kind of wanted to take Jewish folklore and mythology and build that into a more mainstream modern story.
It truly is a very fascinating premise. Can you tell us a little bit about the creative team behind this project and how this collaboration came about?
Yeah, I mean, really, there's no book without Ariel Olivetti. I mean, he is a Marvel legend. I mean, he's done everything, and, you know, his artwork. He was kind of the only person that could do this story. When Max and I kind of came up with this loose concept, we really thought about someone who, one, is a brilliant writer, you know, who could help us tell this story. And also we wanted someone that, you know, wasn't just looked like every typical superhero that you'd find, like, you know, Chris Hemsworth or Hugh Jackman. You know, we wanted someone who could, like, who people could relate to.
What is the implication here? What are you saying?
I'm saying we wanted someone who came off as natty.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And so the only person that came to mind was, you know, Josh. So we, you know, we reached out, we kind of presented this idea.
I mean, he's a legend in everything he does. Broadway, what you are, everything. TV, film.
I think the word legend
incredible.
has really
You are.
taken on a broad meaning these days.
Well,
But
you're the same in person too. You really are.
Yeah.
hey, that's
You
very
get a
sweet of
word
you. For me, it was all the pieces were in place. I had been approached previously to work in this space, and frankly, didn't think myself worthy, and also didn't necessarily gravitate to the material in many cases. And when this came to me, it was the team was so exciting, and the so much of the work had already been done to an extent that you could see it, you could feel it, you could imagine it. So it was kind of an easy yes for me. It was just like, yeah, I've been waiting for this to fall into my lap, and this is the one.
And this series blends multiple genre elements from action, adventure, mystery. How do you all
Or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that one as well. How do you all balance all of these different elements to create one cohesive story?
Amblin is a great jumping off point. I mean, it was already previously mentioned, but you know, I think Ben, Max, and I all sort of felt inspired by the tones of those incredible films that have remained timeless. And I think that was a big part of it. What else would you guys attribute to the tonal kind of identity?
For me, you know, that's kind of real life. Like real life is not just like siloed in one genre. Like you can have these, you know, traumatic moments. You know,
Yesterday was a horror for me.
Yeah,
So.
yesterday was a horror. We don't need to go into that.
I'm
Yes, that will be in the trade paperback. But yeah, I mean, and for us, the greatest stories kind of balance, humor with horror, with trauma, with love and family, and you kind of find that in each section of this story.
I also feel that's the Jewish story.
The Writer issue 4 will be released next month on October 23rd. What can fans look forward to in this new upcoming installment?
What can we spoil, guys?
Yeah,
Can we
it's
spoil?
kind of hard.
Let's just say it's not what you'll expect, in the best sense of that phrase. I think yeah.
I will tell you without giving anything away, it is truly mind-blowingly good. When I got the final copy, digital copy, I was kind of floored. It's a culmination of everything we've been working towards. I think the execution is really next level, exciting. It's again, everything's been leading to this, so it's amazing to kind of have it almost at our fingertips now.
I think, as the title suggests, the writer, it really kind of summarizes our own experience writing this together.
And what does the future have in store for the overall comic series? And is there anything you are particularly excited about?
Well, I mean, first of all, the trade paperback issue 4 is amazing. The trade paperback has some incredibly special surprises in store.
Oh, yeah.
We can't say exactly what that's going to be, but there's some amazing art from some incredible artists that we're excited about.
I'm still pinching myself that at knowing what I know and having seen what I've seen.
You were the closer.
I honestly,
was a
I don't think I've
closer.
seen a trade paperback like this.
It's so good.